and we're going to segue into this week's Parsha. So this week's Parsha is Haye Sarah. Last week of Vayera. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at Vayera, you know very well, but I'm just going to use it as a jumping point into the Akedah and probably one of the most important chinuch lessons of all time. Are we ready? So we all should know or know this conversation. We ended up last week that Sarah, right, gave birth to Yitzhak, Baruch Hashem, wonderful miracle. And they're growing up, and in the house there are two children, right? There is Yishmael and there is Yitzhak. And you know this story. Every Jewish married woman knows this story. If you don't, you should. Oh, I forgot also, I forgot. Again, this is a refuah shlema for Leah Bas Yitl. Peggy, everything should go well for you, and you should have only healthy days and healthy nights also. Here we go. So Sarah sees the child of Hagar, who's Ishmael, Mitzachek. He's making merry. You know, it sounds like a little Christmas card, making merry. I don't know what that means. But according to Rashi, it means that he thought it wasn't, Ishmael was not your top A students, the top Talmud Chacham. What happened was I skipped two words, right? And Sarah, skipped two psukim, Sarah has this conversation with Abraham. Ladies, this is probably one of the most important stories in the Torah. Again, how many we've said, really? Nice to see you. I'm in a rush today reading. I'm ending at 1:45, so I'm going fast. Okay, so we all know this story, but you do understand, again, not all the conversations. I'm assuming that Abraham and Sarah had more than one conversation, right? I'm sure they had to decide what color of the wallpaper will be in the tent, what kind of, light fixture there will be. None of that is recorded. This is one of the only conversations between Abraham and Sarah, and it's a disagreement, which is of all things, right? To show you that husband and wife can disagree. So Sarah turns to Abraham and says, you gotta get rid of Yishmael and Hagar. Get rid of Yishmael. Now you have to understand that Yishmael was a child that Abraham took under his wing. So let's quickly, I just want to get to this point here. He wasn't happy. It says it openly in the Torah. Vayera hadavar ma'od be'inei Abraham. He was displeased about his son. Now you can learn displeased in one of two ways. You can learn displeased in the fact that, oh my gosh, my wife just told me that the kid is a bad kid, so I'm displeased. Or he was displeased with his wife's decision, right? Should we take a vote? What do you guys think? What does it mean that he was displeased? Hi, Miriam. What does it mean he was displeased? I would like to offer he was displeased with his wife's decision. How do I know that's right? How do I know that's right? Because what's the next pasuk say? We know the next pasuk. It's very famous. What does the pasuk say? Vayomer Elokim el Avraham al yeira be'inecha al ehar asher odecha. Don't be displeased. Listen to Sarah. Again, can I repeat that? Don't be displeased. Listen to Sarah. You know that, right? All right. Kol asher tomar lecha Sarah. Whatever Sarah tells you, listen to her. So clearly, it wasn't that he was displeased that Yishmael was a problem. He was displeased with the fact that the way he has to deal with it is throw him out of the house. He didn't think Sarah was right. And God says Sarah is right. Okay, so of course, I could do this forever now because I am talking to women and women love to hear this. Okay, so yes, the woman is smarter than the man, 100%. Oh, I see people's eyes going up. Girls, you did not know that you're smarter than men? Wow. Should I go slower? Should I talk slower now? No. Okay, so you're smarter than the man. You have more potential in men than the husband. It says it openly, okay? Here it is. And Rashi says, Shema b'kola, lamanu shahaya Avraham tafel l'Sarah b'neviut. Avraham was inferior to Sarah in prophecy, and most rabbis learn that means in vision. Woman has better vision. She understands. She has deeper understanding, and she understood that Ishmael had to leave. Okay, we know this point. I've said this point a lot, so let's move on. Any woman on this chat, I said chat, I can't believe I don't do chats. Any woman on this Zoom who needs to hear this again or want me to call your husband, I am volunteering. I'll be very happy. We've done this. The next point is such a chinuch point and so important in our life. So what happened? Sarah told him to get rid of Yishmael. Hashem said to listen to Sarah. Yishmael had to be thrown out of the house. He's out. Next piece, Akedat Yitzhak. Hashem tells Abraham, take your child and bring him up as a korban. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Pasuk Gimel. Very important. Vayashkem Avraham baboker. Abraham got up in the morning. Everybody knows that's a big deal. He got up early, even though he's going to kill his son. He gets up early. From there, we learn you get up early to do a mitzvah. Vayachavosh es chamoro. He saddled his own donkey. We all know that. Vayikach et shnei ne'arav hito. He takes two young men with him to assist or to be with him on the way to Akedat Yitzchak. Who are the two young men? Says Rashi, et shnei na'arav, Yishmael and Eliezer. So Eliezer, we understand, that was his servant. Yishmael, whoa, what does that mean he took Ishmael? Guys, listen again, for those who heard it before, hear it again. This is blowout. Didn't we just learn that he listened to his wife and Hashem said, your wife is smart, you got to throw Yishmael out of the house? What is he doing here with Abraham?
No, I can't. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I have to put the earring.
Okay, no problem. Put the earring. Okay, here we go. And the answer is, can everybody listen carefully? Abraham is teaching us one of the most important chinuch, educational lessons of all life. I love teaching this year after year. Please focus to what I'm saying. Not all children do well in all environments. There are children who are challenged emotionally, behaviorally, and you know what? They can't be in that environment. They can't be in that classroom. That was the issue. For whatever reason, Yishmael had his challenges. He can't be in the same yeshiva as Yitzhak. It bothered Abraham. It bothered him. But Sarah was right. And I'm going to say this openly as an educator. Not every behavior of a child can be ignored. No, because in certain behaviors, they are, I don't know how to say this nicely, they are ruining it for other children. Yes, and you have to be realistic about that. And that's what Sarah said. You got to be realistic. It's not a good mix. But it doesn't mean we throw the kid into the garbage can. It doesn't mean we have nothing to do with the child. Rearrange the setup. Do it in such a way that put him in another place. I don't know, 2 separate rooms, 2 separate experiences. Don't let them experience together. And that's what it just blows my mind. What Abraham just taught us. Sarah didn't tell Abraham not to have anything to do with Ishmael. No, continue. Abraham understood that he has to educate and he has to be mechanech Ishmael, but in an environment that's not together with Yitzhak. Guys, nod your head. Is that amazing? It's an amazing concept. And of course, what I did say this summer, which I found in a beautiful book, in Rabbi Trenk's book, I must tell you, where does this come from? This is just, this alone, ladies, is just worth coming to the class. Hashem says to Abraham, Kachna et bincha, take your child. Et yechidcha, your one and only. Asher ahavta, that you love. What happened? What did I just do now? No, we're good? Okay, that you love. Says Rashi, what's this whole conversation about? Listen carefully. Et bincha. Hashem says to Abraham, take your son. Amarlo shnei banim yeshli. I have 2 sons. Amarlo et yichidcha. He said, you're one and only. Amarlo ze yachid li'imo v'ze yachid li'imo. He is the only one for this mother, and he's the only one for this mother. Listen carefully, ladies. Amar lo asher ahavta, the one that you love. Okay, are you listening? I'm going to stop and then go back to Rashi. The teacher tells the parent, oh, this what your one child, you know, that one child is the class valedictorian. He is the top. He's in every team. He's an amazing kid. That's Yitzhak. And your other son, Yishmael, the guy who got thrown out of yeshiva, the one who was a challenge, the one who's got ADD, the one that's problematic, the one that you love, Besser, the one you love. And Avraham answers, I love them both. I love them both. How did he do that, Avraham? How was Avraham able to do that? It wasn't just a Hallmark card, oh, I love you, happy birthday. It was Avraham speaking to God. That is why Avraham was able to do what he had to do. He understood what Yitzhak was up to in life. He understood what Yishmael was up to in life. You love a child, you love a child. That's the way it is. Not easy, ladies and gentlemen. Who was there? Not easy to do that. Especially, and I'm going to say this, I've been in the yeshiva Flatbush for 42 years. I've worked with teenage kids for 50 years. There are many challenges that kids go through. One of the most serious challenges a child goes through is having a sibling who is more successful than they are. It is very, very difficult, and it's not always the parents' fault. Sometimes the parents, obviously, look, any parent today who tells their kid, why aren't you like your older brother or your older sister? I don't know, take away their parent license. I mean, who says that anymore? You can't say that. But even when you don't say it, sometimes a kid feels it, when you like a kid does something and you grit your teeth, you go, oh, very nice, honey, Okay, it's very important to try to strive to be like Avraham, that even if a person has a Yishmael, you got to show him love. Okay, we got the point. And was it successful? Look at that. We know the end of the story. Look at, where to go? Look at that, where to go? Here, look at this, All the way at the end, when Avraham dies. Vayikberu oto Yitzhak v'Yishmael banav el me'arat ha'machpelah. Look how beautiful every word in the Torah is set up. First of all, who was at the burial? Yishmael. Who is mentioned first in this pasuk? Well, guys, it's right in front of you. Yitzhak. Who was older? You guys can't answer me because I muted you. Okay, I'll do the answer. Yishmael. Why is Yitzhak there first? Because Yishmael, says Rashi, Mikan she'asa Yishmael teshuvah veholich et Yitzhak lifanav. English. From here we deduce that Yishmael repented and let Yitzhak go before him, understanding that...
I'm sorry to see toothpick all over.
No, I don't.
Here, another toothpick.
I missed it. Okay.
I'll take it low.
I don't know what's going on. All right.
I'll take it low.
Let me try to mute that, guys. I'll do the best I can. So we see that he did that. We see that he did teshuvah, and Yitzhak and Avraham was successful. Okay, we got the point. It's a very important point. I don't think this is easy. Trust me, I don't think this is easy. We have to somehow get to the point that this is our child and we love him for what they are, but at the same time, certain things you do have to limit him. And I got a really nice saying. I'd love to share that saying with you. Love is not if or because. Love is anyway, and even though, and in spite of. Okay, I wish I could hear your remarks or comments. Okay, anybody has something? Anybody disagree? Anybody want to disagree?
Would you just put that back on, Rabbi, so I can copy it?
Sure.
For a second. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Here it is. Love is not if or because. Love is anyway, even though, and in spite of. Okay, fine. Great. Then we get to the Akedah. Okay, the Akedah teaches us a lot. I can't ignore my favorite piece until we go. They're all my favorite pieces. I can't ignore my most important lesson for all of our children in the Akedah right here. Please get it down. If you never heard it before, listen, it'll go fast. So they're at the Akedat Yitzhak at Har HaMoriah. Har HaMoriah. By the way, before I even do something, amazing. Where was the Beit HaMikdash built? On which mountain was the Beit HaMikdash built? The answer is Har HaMoriah. Why would we not build the Beit HaMikdash on, come on, give me another mountain, Har Sinai. Har Sinai, where the Torah was given. Isn't that a great question? That's where our Beit HaMikdash should be built, on what we stand for. And the rabbis answer, study of Torah is important, but willing to sacrifice for God, that's more important even than studying Torah. A Jew has to learn that they have to overcome their challenges in order to get close to God. That's the most important. So of the two mountains, Har HaMoriah wins color water. Okay, Har HaMoriah way over Har Sinai. And if you can handle a corny joke, Har HaMoriah rocks it. That was funny. Peggy, how funny was that? Okay, I got an okay from Peggy. Even Ellen's laughing. Look at that. Okay, here we go. This is famous. I'll do this very quick. He's about to slaughter Yitzhak. If you never heard this, listen quickly. Vayomer, and he says, Avraham, line Avraham. Avraham, line Avraham. His name is Avraham, not Avraham. So why is he calling it twice? So rabbis say that he out of love, but there's a line in between Avraham and Avraham. So this is a very famous thing. I do it a lot. I want to show you something really cool. Everybody knows there's a complete list of verses corresponding to people's names, right? A verse, a pasuk that starts with the letter that your name begins with and ends with the word that ends with the letter that your name ends with. I got to show you something really weird that happened when I prepared for this. I've said this before, but look at this. So I went into the internet and I said, give me an example of a pasuk that people say in order, corresponding to their name. Guess what? They gave me this pasuk. Nidvot pi ritzeina Hashem u'mishpatecha lamdeni. Which name corresponds to this pasuk? Naftali, that's my name. How weird is that? That I just threw it in there and they threw me my name. I don't know. I'm sure they're telling me that I got to be a little better in life. Maybe that's the message. So again, we have a nice custom. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check it out on your Sidur. There are a list of psukim that a person says at the end of his Shemona Esrei, that the first letter of his word, Nun, that's me, Naftali, is the beginning of the pasuk, and the last letter of his word, Yud, is the end of the pasuk. Nice, very nice. Why do we do that? So look what it says here, and it's really strange. There is a custom to say a verse corresponding to one's name at the end of the Amidah as a skula, not to forget his name on the day of judgment. Again, get a pasuk to remember your name so that when we get up to Hashem after 120 years, we won't forget our name. Okay, that's strange. Okay, the truth is, I'm starting to forget things, so maybe I do understand what's going on here. They're going to ask me, what's your name? I'm going to go, I'm Safreda. That's who I am. I don't know anything else but that. Okay, but that's not going to happen. So what does that mean, remember saying? So I saw a very nice perush. I said it a lot, but it's so nice. Every person, ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully, please tell your kids. Every person has two names. That's four. Has two names. The name that they make for themselves in this world and the name they could have made for themselves in this world. There's so many opportunities maybe that a person misses that they could have done that. Well, they could have done that. Look how many times somebody is tapped in certain academic ways. Kids who could do so much and they don't do it until somebody pushes them. So not everyone lives up to their potential. Therefore, let's go back to my original question. Why did Hashem say Avraham, Avraham? Hashem said Avraham, Avraham to tell him that now that he's accomplished all the way of 10 nisyonot, such a high madriga, the name Avraham that you made in this world matches the name Avraham that's going to be in the next world. And therefore, we understand why we say these psukim. What does it mean that we're not going to know our name? We're not going to know our name means Hashem is going to say, what's your name? And we're supposed to show, I'm Naftali Besser who did this, this, and this based on everything you gave me, on all my potential. So we have to remember that we're going to be asked that question. Did you live up to your potential? And that's why we say the pasuk to remind us. Is that clear or was that messed up? Clear? All right. I hope you like that. Good. That's very famous. Something a little new. Here we go. So we go on to, I'm sorry. Then I have these sayings. I like this saying, by the way. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Isn't that nice? People go through life trying to compete with other people. The best person to compete with is yourself. Say, you know what? I'm going to be even better today than yesterday. Okay, let's move on because I really have a lot to do. Okay. So let's go back to the story. So we know that the Malach told him not to, right? And he stopped. Good. Yud Gimel. Vayisa Avraham et Einav. Again, do you guys remember from last week, for those who were here, for those who weren't, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but we said this. Remember, he was sitting in front of his tent. It says he lifted his eyes. Look again. He lifts his eyes, which is interesting. Why would it say that? Fine. Lifts his eyes. Vayar, and he sees. V'hinei ayil, and he sees a ram. Achar, right? Ne'echaz basvach bikarnav. And he saw a ram that was caught in the tree. Vayelech Avraham, he went, vayikach et ha'ayil, and he took the ram, and he brought it instead of his child. Nice. I have a very strange question. I asked this question to one of my students, and they poo-pooed it. They didn't think it was a good question. So I need a little bit of reinforcement from you. And since you're muted, I'm going to say that you're going to agree with me. Why do I need to know that the ram was stuck in the thicket? Who cares? Why is that fact so important? He looked up and he saw a ram. I don't know, what's the difference? The ram was stuck in the middle of the forest. I asked that question to my students. They said, well, maybe that's the only way Abraham was able to catch it, because he was 100 and something years old. He was 137 years old. They told me, Rabbi, when you're 137, I want to see you catch a ram. That's what my student told me. All right, so I guess you're all agreeing with my student, because I'm seeing a lot of smiles on this thing. Okay, so that bothered me. Okay, but you know what? I can get confirmation someplace else. I have internet. Here we go. Where was it? Oh, I had it someplace. Where was it? It's not here? Yeah, no. Yeah, here it is. Rav Aaron Cutler. Rav Aaron Cutler, right? Have you guys ever heard of Rav Aaron Cutler? He was the rabbi that started Lakewood. Go make fun of Besser. Aaron Cutler asked this question. Yo, me. Okay, here we go. He says at the end of the Akedah, the ram was entangled in the bush. Rav Aaron asks, why did that happen? Right. What do you need that to be? Right. What was the need for the pasuk to emphasize the ram was caught in the bush? Okay. All right. So now it's okay. Now all of a sudden you all agree that it's a great question because Aaron Cutler asked the question. Okay, we're in. Got it. I asked it down. We're in. I have a much stronger question to ask, and you know this question. Okay. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. The shofar on Rosh Hashanah. It's there to wake us up. Got it. What other story is it symbolizing? What story is the shofar symbolizing? Akedat Yitzhak. This question is solid. Really? The ram's horn is part of Akedat Yitzhak? It's an afterthought, guys. It had nothing to do with the original Akedah. What was the greatness of the Akedah girls? What was the greatness? The greatness was that he was willing or ready to sacrifice his son, right? Correct? That's unbelievable. The fact that he did the ram, that's not big. So if you're going to symbolize the Akedah, use something that symbolizes the Akedah. Get a rope, get a knife, bring a knife to shul. I can. Right? We can think of things to do with that knife and shul, right? There we go. So why are we using the ram's horn? And the answer is the following. You ready? It's a big deal. Here it goes. Where'd it go? Yeah. Says the ram, right? So Rabbi Aaron says that this shows that the Yetzer Hara never gives up. Avraham, you think you passed the test. Fine, you won that round. Now there's another round. The ram. You think it's going to be easy? You're wrong. There are always trials and tribulations. I love this answer. You know the feeling that you get I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You build up, you build up, you build up. Let's do something that we could relate to. Here we go. Oh, getting ready for Pesach. Oh, I threw out the big one. Esther Danny, you go like this. I threw out the big one. That's a challenge. Almost as much as Akedat Yitzhak. I think you're ready to slaughter some people by the time Pesach comes. No? Yeah. So there you go. You got there. And then you're sitting at the Seder. You did it. You did it all. It's clean. What happens tomorrow morning? You got to cook for 30 people who are living in your house for a week. It's never over. This is never over. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why we use the ram. And that's why the ram was entangled, because Abraham wanted to go further. He wanted to do more, even though he was done. Now he wants to do more. You think it's going to be easy for him. He gets up there, gets a ram, and he goes. No. You want the ram? You got to go into the forest. You got to untangle the ram. And that's what it means to be a Jew. It's never over. Never. One challenge after the other challenge. That's the way it goes. I want to tell you something. I said this story before. It's frightening. It's a story that it just stays in my mind. It's a short story. An elderly tzaddik. He was we're talking about, it was an achron. So it was early 1700s. We're talking about a chacham, a big rabbi from 1700s. He was elderly and he was on his deathbed. He was passing away. And the students saw that he was murmuring to himself. He was like uncomfortable. He's like fighting with somebody. So the students asked him, Rabbi, what are you fighting? Who are you fighting with? What are you talking about? So he said, I'm fighting with the Yetzer Hara. So the students said, what could the Yetzer Hara possibly be asking you to do now? Like, what is he asking you to do? To go eat not kosher? You can't eat. You're lying on about what's the Yetzer Hara asking you to do? You ready, guys? He answered, the Yetzer Hara is telling me to say Shema before I die with such kavanah that I can show off that I'm a big tzaddik. Wow. Did that hit you like it hit me when I heard this story? It's amazing. It's never over is the lesson. And that's why when it's Rosh Hashanah, you blow the ram's horn to understand it's only over when it's actually over. Okay, we're not going to discuss that. But that's the bottom line. Okay, everybody got it? We got to move on. 15 minutes. Okay. We're going to do. Okay, so that was Akedat Yitzhak. And of course, Akedat Yitzhak is called the binding of Yitzhak. Okay, so we're not going to do that. Okay, we're going to leave that. Okay, let's move into Haye Sarah. There are one or two things that are brand new, and there was one thing that I'm very into, and it's going to lead me to a very, very sad. We had two big Talmidei Chachamim who passed away this week. It was Rabbi Feinstein, Rabbi David Feinstein, an amazing human being, a huge Talmid Chacham, right? Okay, and we know Rabbi Sax. Somebody sent me something that Rabbi Sax said when he got sick, and I need to share this with you. So I don't want to end before I do, but I'm setting it up with Haye Sarah because it so fits into something I'm going to teach you about Haye Sarah. Everybody ready? Okay. So Sarah passes away in the next parsha, this week's parsha, and the parsha is called Haye Sarah. There it is. And Sarah was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. Everybody knows why does it say that way. I can tell you this quick, by the way. This is nice. Rashi says that she was when she was 100, right? When she was 100, she was like when she was 20. When she was 20, she was like at 7, right? What does that mean? In beauty. So it means that she dealt with her beauty, at 20 like she would at 7 in an instance. Okay, sideshow. Here's my question. Something new. I'm going to get to this statement. I'm sure if you're looking, I'm assuming that you are deathly curious where I'm getting this statement from. Behind every spiritually successful man, there's a woman, his mother. All right, let me show you why. Here's the question. Vatamat Sarah, Sarah dies. The Kiryat Arba. Hebron, everybody knows that. People have been there to Hebron, right? We've been there to Marat HaMachpelah. The Eretz Canaan. Vayavo Avraham. Avraham came, lispod l'Sarah, to eulogize or mourn Sarah and to cry for her. Okay, you're going to have to agree with me on this. It should have just said, Vayispod Avraham l'Sarah. That's the verb. He eulogized her. I mean, there are a million verbs. Every time a person does something, he came from somewhere. What do you mean, Vayavo Avraham lispod? Guys, you got to shake your head that you agree with me on this. It's ridiculous, right? It's a verb. Can I ask you something? It says Vayochal, Esav ate. Did it say Vayavo, Vayochal? A million times it says verbs and a person does something. It doesn't say Avraham came and then it should say he eulogized her. Not my question. The Medrash asked that question. The Medrash asked, okay, somebody's up. The Medrash says like this. Where did Avraham come from? So where did he come from, ladies? You know where he came from. Where did he come from? What was the last? Akedat Yitzhak. That was the last story. So what does that mean? So look how beautiful this is. Rav Mordechai Ilan says the Midrash is telling us as follows. We know that Avraham rose to the occasion of God's test on Har Moriah. But so did Yitzhak. Our sages derive from the verse, and the two of them went together. Yitzhak was 37, knew full and well what was about to happen, and nevertheless went willingly with his father. Can we stop for a minute? First of all, we do all understand that images of little Yitzhak being a little child going on the Mizbeach has got to be shattered. Everyone knows this. This is not just Midrash. Let's figure this out ourselves. How old was Sarah when she had Yitzhak? She was 90. We said it openly. How many years after that did Sarah die, right? She was 127. She died right after the Akedah. So, right, 127. So, and 127, 27 and 10 is 37. So Yitzhak is an adult. He's 37 years old. Step one. Step two. Did God tell Yitzhak to go do Akedat Yitzhak? Go yes or no? What's the answer?
He told him to sacrifice his son.
You didn't hear the questions. I'll do it again. Did God say to Yitzhak, go get sacrificed?
No.
No, he didn't hear it. All of this is trusting his papa. That's huge. And he's not a 10-year-old kid. He's 37. Okay, I don't want to make anybody upset. How many 37-year-old kids of yours listen to you? Oh, it's very quiet on the Zoom. Very quiet on the Zoom. I got a 0 from somebody. 37 years old, you're going to tell your kid, okay, honey, God spoke to me last night. I got to chop your head off. Are you kidding? He's too busy, hanging out in the Upper West Side. He's not coming to you. So says Medrash. That was amazing what Yitzchak did. So it was at that time that Avraham recognized what a great person in stature his son was. This in turn told Avraham what a great person his wife was. Because if a child is on such a spiritual level, who's willing to go through an Akedah, such a son did not grow up by himself. He was raised by a mother who instilled in him tremendous degree of heaven. Ladies, this is so beautiful. I never said this. This is brand new. I love this. Avraham is validating. Is Avraham not a holy man? Is Avraham not a... Avraham recognized that if he wouldn't have had a mother like Sarah, that never would have been on that level. It comes from the mother, not from the father. It comes from the mother instilling the level of Yirat Shamayim and Emunah comes from the mother. And that's why it says, he came from Har Moriah to eulogize Sarah, to say that this is all because of her. How beautiful is that? And it's one little line. That's okay. I'm going to ask you a series of quick questions, and I'm going to give you the answer. This is not an easy one. You ready? Quick. But this is very heavy and nice. Okay, question number 1. Okay, everybody knows this. Do you guys see this word, Valif Kotab? Just say yes. You see the little chaf? It's small. In the Torah, the chaf is written small. And here it is, small kaf and lif kotab. First question, why is that happening? Next. Second question, even more. Vayiyu Haye Sarah. And the life of Sarah was 127 years. You should know these were the years of Sarah. Okay. Totally redundant, right? It's not even a long pasuk. Again, the pasuk starts, these are the years of Sarah, 127. What are these? The years of, it sounds like me when I teach my classes, the years of Sarah. Why? So this is beautiful, and it's going to lead me into Rabbi Sax, and it's probably going to be the last thing I can do today. Are you ready? So there's a very, 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 very famous prayer. We say it at our beats. Hashem, right, put us to sleep, quietly. And then it says, V'haser Satan milfanenu umeacharenu. Take away the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, the evil things. Milfanenu, from in front of us and from in back of us. So what does that mean? So simply put, it means don't stop us from doing things, and don't, right? That's milfanenu, and don't push us into doing things. But a lot of people learn the following. Listen carefully. The Yetzer Hara's job is to make sure that we don't succeed spiritually. So sometimes he stands in front of us, milfanenu. But when he can't succeed milfanenu, we already did the mitzvah, he sometimes comes and goes me'acharenu, from behind us. What does that mean? He tries to make us regret the mitzvah we did. And if he's able to make us regret the mitzvah we did, he succeeds. Watch carefully. I don't have enough time now, but if you want, I would love to do it next week. It says openly that Sarah died as a result of Akedat Yitzhak. This I need to do much longer. I'm not able to do this in short. It's a little difficult. I've done this before. If you want, I'll do it again. Somebody email me during the week. Yes, Rabbi, we want to discuss it. But it says, Sha'al Yedei B'surat Ha'akedah, because of the news of Akedat Yitzhak, that he was prepared for slaughter and he almost didn't, right? And he didn't get slaughtered, or he did, or he almost did. She died. Okay, questions should be flying in your mind. What does that mean? That means she wasn't as strong as Abraham. Did she know about it? Didn't she know about it? I don't know if everybody remembers. We've had this discussion. I'm very happy to have it. I think it's an important discussion to have. Can I throw you another question that you guys could think about all week long? Everybody ready? Yes, Rabbi, we want to discuss it. Okay. Okay. Can I ask you a question that should make you curious to come next week? Did Abraham tell Sarah that he's going to do this? Yes or no?
No, he did not tell her.
Okay, I have different thoughts, Ms. Fuchs. I will talk. Okay, that's next week. But that's a great question. Isn't that a great question? Was this a coffee and cake discussion like Ishmael's thing? Was like, hi, now it's Abraham's turn, right? Hi, Sarah, we have to have coffee. You know what? Tomorrow morning, we're going to slaughter our one and only son. What do you think, Sarah? Okay, was that a discussion? Okay, so clearly, at first glance, it's not a discussion because she died. Okay, but guys, I need to get to, because he passed away this week and I want to give him honor. So, fine. So, but either way, it was a direct result of Akedat Yitzhak. So watch now. What did the Satan want to do? Look what the Satan wanted to do. Where am I? Yeah, look what the Satan wanted to do. Here we go. This is a common phenomenon. Yeah. Right, let's get this right. Will Avraham Avinu regret the fact that she died and therefore regret that he did the Akedah? This is a common phenomenon. People die, doctors, and had I taken this doctor, okay, I'll do all this next week. So the Malach wanted to see if he could get Avraham, even for an instant, to regret his actions at the Akedah. So that's what the Satan was trying to do. Everybody ready now? This is a beauty. We are now going to answer both our questions. Velif kota. Yes, he was sad. Yes, he did hesped. Absolutely. But he didn't cry with a full chaf. He didn't allow this to make him regret the fact that she died. He didn't let that happen. He cried limited to a degree, not to the point of regretting what happened. Now you ask me, how did he control that? How was Avraham able to control not regretting? You know why? Because Avraham knows what the Torah is telling us. Look what the Torah said, our original question. Vayiyu Haye Sarah. And these were the years of Sarah, 127 years. And you should know these are the years of Sarah. Do you know what the Torah is saying? Don't think she died because of the Akedah. She didn't die because of an accident. She didn't die because of cancer. She didn't die because of something. She died because her years were up. That's it. Don't play games with me, said Abraham to the Satan. Don't pin her death on something that you want me to think. And that's probably the most important lesson I can teach you. I need to read this because I only have 4 minutes. I need to read this. I'm a little over time. So watch, you're more important than the freshman right now. Whoa. Okay. Rabbi Jonathan Sax was an amazing man. I got an email from somebody who told me this is what he said. Please let me read it. I have to take my glasses off to read it, so because I can't see that well. Here we go. Though he seldom mentions it, Rav Sax battled cancer twice, once in his 30s and later in his 50s. Yet, unlike many other rabbis and scholars of religion, from Rabbi David Wolpe to James Kugel, I don't know who that is, who incorporated their bouts with cancer into their theological reflection, Rabbi Sax makes no reference to it in his voluminous output. He never discussed it, ever. I asked why. It's very simple, he said. I saw my late father in his 80s go through 4 or 5 major operations. This was not cancer, it was hip replacements and those things. And when you have operations in your 80s, they sap your strength. He got weaker and weaker as the decades passed. He was walking on crutches at my induction. He was alive for my induction. That was very important to me. Now, my late father, Alav Shalom, did not have much of a Jewish education, but he had enormous emunah, Sachs continued. I used to watch him saying Tehillim in the hospital, and I could see him getting stronger. It seemed to me that his mental attitude was, I'm leaving this to Hashem. If he sees that it's time for me to go, then it's time for me to go. And if he still needs me to do things here, he'll look after me. And I adopted exactly that attitude. So on both occasions, I felt, if this is the time Hashem needs me up there, thank you very much indeed for my time down here. I've enjoyed every day and feel very blessed. And if he wants me to stay, and there's still work for me to do, then he's going to be part of my healing. And I might put my trust in him. So there was no test of faith at any point. Just these simple moments in which to say, Biado afkid ruchi. In his hand, I placed my soul. That was my thought. And since we say that every day in Adon Olam, that pasuk, I didn't feel the need to write a book about it. It was enough for me. It was for me not a theological dilemma at all. I had faith, says Rabbi Sax, full stop. Is that amazing?
Very beautiful.
So
Amazing.
Exactly what Avraham told exactly. This is it. This week's Parsha. It's just amazing to me that this is what he said. There's something shiva for him. The Satan was trying to get Avraham to regret because look what happened. Look what happened. This happened and that's why she died. No, that's not why things happen. Things happen because Hashem makes them happen. Of course, we have to go through hishtadlut. Of course, we have to go through our efforts. Everybody understands that. We're not supposed to be somech al hanes. We're not supposed to, rely on miracles. Agreed. But bottom line is Shnei Haye Sarah. Those were her years. Okay, guys, I hope it was okay. I'm really sorry I have to leave, but everybody say goodbye to everybody. I'll try.